Alright, so this is day 3, but I didn't do it yesterday because, um, I'm totally beat. I don't even know at this point why I'm doing it, other than the fact that I committed to it, and it would be really lame if I said, I'm gonna do this every day, and then not. Let me look at the clock to make sure I stay in a certain time frame, but, it would be like lame to like have one up and then like never do it again. But I'm doing it even though I haven't worn makeup in 3 days, and this is what happens to my hair when it air dries. And yeah. So and yesterday I just was not in a place where physically and mentally or emotionally where I could even record anything. It was a really difficult day for me, all thanks to the Walmart pharmacy and their amazing ability to not order prescription medications that they know people need. I go in, basically the story is this: I go in every week on Sunday or Monday, and I get a month's worth, or not a month, a week's worth of one of my prescriptions, because it costs like $180 something a month. And I used to be able to go in and get just the month's supply when True to You was getting enrollment, and 21 Secrets was getting enrollment, and I was selling stuff on Etsy. But everything just seems to have dropped off, and so I haven't sold anything on Etsy this week, I don't think. And I haven't gotten any workshop enrollment, which is weird. It's probably the first time in a year that has happened, where I've gone a week without anything. So what that means is I pretty much can't purchase anything, prescriptions included. So I went in, and they didn't have enough, and they said, well, here's 3 days worth, and then just come back and you'll get the rest. So 3 days went by, and on the morning of the 4th day, I went in there, and at first I called, and I was like, do I have to call you guys? And they're like, no. And she said, but we don't have any. And this is one of those medications that you cannot miss a dose. If you miss a dose, it fucks with your entire physical, mental system, whatever. And so I was upset. I was really mad. And she called around to like a bunch of other stores, and they didn't have any. And not a lot of people take it in the dosage that I take it. And it's a little higher, but that's what works for me. So, I mean, obviously that's what's going to have to work. So, finally she called me back, and she said, we haven't found any, but the pharmacist has a couple left that he can give you. And since I go in there every week, I know the pharmacist and the techs and everybody by first name and stuff. So I went in, and he had 2 left. And he said, the shipment should come in tomorrow, and there should be some. We don't know if it was on back order or whatever. And I was like, okay. So this morning I got up, and it's my 7th day of biking every other day, which I'm getting more and more used to it. And so I went out and did my bike ride, because I was going to do my bike ride, come back, take a shower, hence the hair like this, and then go to Walmart to pick up my pills. So I went on my bike ride with my brother, and on the way back, the seat on the bike kept slipping down until it was like all the way down, and like you were riding it like a little kid trying to, a big kid riding a little kid's bike, where like your knees are hitting your chest. And so I'm trying to ride this bike like this with the seat all the way down, and not only is it all the way down, but it keeps like moving like this, so I have to keep like using my hips to turn it, but then of course the bike starts to turn. So I'm riding this bike with like my knees hitting in my chest, and I'm like a mile from home. I was at one road, and I had to get to the next one, and they're pretty much, each block here is about a mile. And so I'm just like, fuck it. So I get off the bike, and I start walking it. And this guy comes by, and he has one of those really cool recliner bikes where you like sit back in it, and the pedals are in front of you. And so he's like, do you need any help? And I'm like, yeah, probably, because, I can't ride my bike, and it would take me 5 minutes to get home, but walking, it would take me, 10 minutes or something like that, because I ride my bike much faster than I walk. Plus you have to walk the bike, which is never fun. So, he gets off of his bike, and, he fixes the seat, and we end up chatting, and I ended up chatting for like an hour, and you can see that I got nice and toasty. I got horribly sunburnt on both of my shoulders, and I'm sure that will peel or whatever later. So it was really interesting, and my brother had gone, you can see, oh, look at this. So my brother had gone ahead. He's like, oh, I want to see how far the trail goes. And I was like, I would like to not do that. So he took my water bottle and he went, and then he ended up coming back, and we just sat out there and talked, and it was really cool. But then I was like, what time is it? And he's like, oh, it's 11:30. And I'm like, crap, because, you know, I started my bike ride at about 10 o'clock. And, you know, usually I'm back by 10:25. And then I would take a shower and then leave to go get my prescription at 11. So I was like, oh crap. So I ride my bike back, and my father's home, and I was like, you're dressed and everything. Can you go up to Walmart for me and pick up my pills so I don't have to wait that extra half hour? You know, like they'll be waiting for me when I get out of the shower. Ideally, in a world where they keep track of things, it would be that way. So I'm starting to feel really sick at this point because I'm going past that point of no return where I'm going to start feeling like shit for missing my medication. And so, you know, I'm laying on the couch and I'm just like typing, and I wrote a letter for my Born Brave newsletter, which is all about living with chronic illness and trying to find the positives and also venting when you need to vent. So I wrote a piece for that, and halfway through me writing it, I got a phone call from my dad, and he said, the order just got here and they cannot fill your prescription until 2 o'clock. And I just started to lose it. I had tears running down my face, and I was like, you have to go after this pharmacist and tell him that I just need one pill. Just give me one, please. And apparently they're not allowed to do, they have to check the entire shipment of medication in before they can start dispersing anything. So that was really fun. And so I'm like totally drained from the day, and I'm just really emotionally unstable because while I take this medicine for fibromyalgia, it also does stuff with brain chemistry because, you know, it's overactive nerves and then brain chemistry that really kind of causes it. And I started to feel all those aches that I feel if I don't have medications, aka my natural state of being. All of those aches and pains. And I'm just wiped out. I'm just so tired. I didn't do any work yesterday because I didn't have it, and I got it too late, and I was pretty much crying for 6 hours on and off. And I actually got that really, really exhausted, emotionally tired, where like you just can't keep your eyes open, your brain isn't computing anything, and you're just staring at the television like a zombie. That was yesterday. And today I'm just pretty much worse. And just really unmotivated and really in a place of negativity where I'm just like, I'm just seeing not the long term of all of these articles will come out and all of this stuff will happen, and you know, in May and in June and July things will be awesome and you won't have to worry. And I'm just like, I'm unable to, I guess at this point, see that long term, and all I see is April, the rest of April and May, struggling, you know, like swimming against the thing, struggling, and like I said in the last vlog, like trying to figure out what I've done wrong, what I'm not doing right, and how I can fix it, and I have no idea. So I've just decided that I have one thing on my desk that needs to get sent out as soon as I get an email from someone, but other than that, I don't have any external projects. I have the video workshop to film, which in order to get this camera to work on my netbook, which is actually on my bed, because I started trying to record with that, and every time I actually hit record, it froze the computer and I had to restart it. So I have to figure that out. But in order to get this camera to even work on that, I had to have a breakdown, get an external CD drive, completely reformat and reinstall the operating system on the computer. And that, of course, takes forever. And the way that I de-stress is I work on art and I write. And I didn't have it, so I wasn't able to write because I sat for so long at this computer yesterday doing jack shit that I wasn't able to sit here anymore. And so I was just like, oh. So I was up until midnight. Don't turn off monitors. Wow, that's cool. It gave me static, like, you know, old TV static. That doesn't really happen anymore. So I was up until about midnight working on the computer, and then when I just sat down to hit record, program completely froze, so I'll have to figure something out. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So I thought I had this whole thing that I wanted to do about drawing, and I have all these journals here, and I have all these pages marked and stuff like that. But since it's already been 10 minutes and you've had to listen to me wax poetically about crap you probably don't care about, I just thought I would show you this is my very first visual journal. And there's still pictures, I think, of it up on Flickr, but who goes back that far, right? And this is from 2005. That's when I kind of started. There's a lot of just writing. I did a lot of writing. I love this notebook, by the way. I absolutely love it. And then I started doing like this stuff, where I would just find stuff that was really inspiring to me, and it's all from Japanese magazines. It's my dog. I love this bookcase. And it's pretty much all Drake. Stupid dog. That's kind of like how I started journaling. And then, for instance, here's like movie tickets. That's Star Wars opening day. And then a movie ticket from Japan, where you can see that it costs $18 to go to the movies in Japan, which is why we only want ones. There's lots of pressed flowers in here, and notes and stuff. And then, you know, here's more collage work. I'm trying to get to... That's kind of how I started it. This is kind of how I started visual journaling. Just kind of collaging a whole bunch of stuff. I commuted a lot. That was my plane ticket from Nagoya, Japan to O'Hare. I really love this page still. Try not to go too much over 15 minutes because I still have to upload this. But here, right here, this is the very first thing I drew. Let me see if I can, because the focal length is different for the notebook than where I'm sitting, so hold on. There we go. That is the very first thing I ever drew in a visual journal. Right there. It's a clock at State and Jackson. And what did I write? Up until a few minutes ago, when I walked into the store in search of a book, the snow fell visibly from the sky in strands of pearls, like an illustration for a Christmas card. Maybe it still is, and I can't see it because I'm inside, and some of the magic is removed by looking out through a window. I can sit here and people watch, though, comfortably inside and at a table. I just called Mom, and we're going to run some errands for her, so I can't stay as long as I'd like. There's an old-fashioned clock on the front of the Walgreens across the street, and it tells me the time. This area seems particularly nostalgic to times gone with, and I read the little signs on the street that tell of the area's history. But I like the clock. It's not digital. It just sits there, gold in the middle of modern signs, with no thoughts for the world rushing around it. It's 3 p.m. Better get going. And then I drew. We went to the ER because she had pink eye. And that's just kind of, this was the kind of journaling I did for a couple of years, actually, until 2006, when I started experimenting. I'll show you, actually. There's some more drawings. But I've never gone to art school or anything. I learned how to draw by looking at shit and drawing it. That's pretty much. This was Christmas Eve, and I looked at that and drew it, and then I colored it in with watercolors. I was so damn proud of myself. And then, this is the first page I ever did with acrylics. So think how far I've come. That was my first one. And what did I write? I never used acrylic paints before and decided to pull out the set I received for Christmas. I like how the colors are more solid than watercolors, but found making long, consistent marks difficult. I much prefer my watercolors and the new watercolor pencils I got to the acrylics when it comes to painting. Wow, look at me. How many years later? 11 years later. And I said yesterday I don't like using, I'm not proficient in watercolors. I love my acrylics and I'll never let go. This is where I used to work. That's the, our 3/4 inch tape player. Then this was one I did. This was actually watercolors. And those are the mountains when I was passing. Those are the Akai Mountains near Kagawa, Japan. They float in the distance, tall islands shrouded in clouds that blend with the sky. From the sea they spring, giant hands reaching towards the heavens. Several of them dot the sea between the two islands. A deep calm radiates from them, silent guards on friendly shores, quiet, foreboding, unrelenting in their quest for peace and tranquility. They have the power to draw tears from even the driest of eyes. Windswept witnesses of thousands of years of death, life, and all that in between. Shadows, ghosts. The mist and sea keep eyes from truly seeing their majestic forms, just glances here and there as the sun beams down and keeps all the world bright. Perhaps at night one could try, but maybe that's when giant shadows move across the dark sea like stars passing through the midnight sky. That's the kind of stuff I write when I actually write in my brain journal that I told you about. So this is my first one. I mean, here's me waiting in an airport, and this is just lined moleskin that I got, and it worked fine for me. I think I did another page in acrylics. This was an illustration for a story, and I actually found someone who's been here. This is at Sanctity Point Light on Nantucket. When I went 15 years ago, there's a house. I'll show you. There was a house, as you can see there, and a green swing set. And when I went there, there was no house. There was just this green swing set just hanging out by itself. It was really cool. Okay, I have to finish. I love this collage. I still do. I was doing psychology and alchemy at this point. And then I flew to LA. This was when I went to Los Angeles. And I took a lot of notes from classes in here. More sketches. They're really bad. They take me forever. This is one that really makes me... Sometimes when you're so happy, it makes you cry. And, but yeah, this was my first one. I still have it. I have no idea if I was out of frame because I actually had to move the box in order to see myself on the camera. I think I didn't turn it enough. Yeah. So hopefully you saw me still. But that's all for today. That's 17 minutes of me babbling at you about all kinds of stuff. And tomorrow I'll really talk about the whole thing about drawing and what I think about it all. But for now, I mean, I did a little bit of work in my journal last night and it really helped, but for now I'm going to do some writing that I haven't done in a couple days and that'll really help too. And Fringe is on tonight. That makes Friday the best day of the fucking week. And I have to wait 2 hours, whereas my best friend in Chicago is watching it now. So I'm going to go get excited for that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I won't skip a day again. You can see me horrible in pajamas and sniffling or whatever.